we the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity, do ordain and establish this Constitution for the United States of America. Our Constitution outlines how our government is established. The Constitution outlines the three branches of government and the duties of each of those branches. The three branches of government are the executive branch, the judicial branch, and the legislative branch. The nation as a whole has all three branches of government supporting it. The executive branch consists of the office of the President of the United States. The judicial branch consists of the Supreme Court and Supreme Court justices. The legislative branch is made up of Congress, which houses the Senate and the House of Representatives. However, each state also has its own set of government branches. The executive branch at the national level consists of the President of the United States. Currently, that president is Donald Trump. The executive branch for the state of Texas is the governor. Currently, the governor for the state of Texas is Greg Abbott. The national judicial branch consists of the Supreme Court and the Supreme Court justices. The Supreme Court normally consists of the Chief Justice of the United States and 8 associate justices who are nominated by the President and confirmed by the Senate. Once appointed, justices have lifetime tenure unless they resign, retire, or are removed after impeachment. In the state of Texas, the judicial system is made up of the Texas Supreme Court and its justices. It is composed of the Chief Justice and 8 justices. The Supreme Court of Texas is the court of last resort for civil matters in the state. Texas Supreme Court justices are elected to staggered 6-year terms in statewide elections. The legislative branch consists of the Senate and the House of Representatives. On the national level, Congress is made up of 100 senators. There are 2 senators from each state. There are 434 representatives in Congress, 36 of them represent Texas. The number of representatives in Congress is based on each state's population. The Senate's duty is to the people. The House of Representatives' duty is to the state or nation. When something needs to be made into a law or a law needs to be changed, we need to contact our senators and House of Representatives to voice our concerns. Our senators and representatives then decide whether they agree with our concerns and decide whether or not to create a bill. A bill is an official document that addresses the concern that the Senate and House of Representatives will eventually vote on to determine whether or not to sign the bill into law.
Woo, you sure gotta climb a lot of steps to get to this Capitol building here in Washington. Well, I wonder who that sad little scrap of paper is.
I'm just a bill, yes, I'm only a bill, and I'm sitting here on Capitol Hill. Well, it's a long, long journey to the capital city. It's a long, long wait while I'm sitting in committee, but I know I'll be a law someday. At least I hope and pray that I will, but today I am still just a bill.
Gee, Bill, you certainly have a lot of patience and courage.
Well, I got this far. When I started, I wasn't even a bill. I was just an idea. Some folks back home decided they wanted a law passed, so they called their local congressman, and he said, "You're right, there ought to be a law." Then he sat down and wrote me out and introduced me to Congress, and I became a bill. And I'll remain a bill until they decide to make me a law. I'm just a bill, yes, I'm only a bill, and I got as far as Capitol Hill. Well, now I'm stuck in committee, and I'll sit here and wait while a few key congressmen discuss and debate whether they should let me be a law. I hope and pray that they will, but today I am still just a bill.
listen to those congressmen arguing. Is all that discussion and debate about you?
Yeah, I'm one of the lucky ones. Most bills never even get this far. I hope they decide to report on me favorably, otherwise I may die.
Die?
Yeah, die in committee. Oh, but it looks like I'm going to live. Now I go to the House of Representatives and they vote on me.
If they vote yes, what happens?
Then I go to the Senate and the whole thing starts all over again.
Oh, no.
Oh, yes. I'm just a bill. Yes, I'm only a bill. And if they vote for me on Capitol Hill, well, then I'm off to the White House where I'll wait in a line with a lot of other bills for the president to sign. And if he signs me, then I'll be a law. How I hope and pray that he will. But today I am still just a bill.
You mean even if the whole Congress says you should be a law, the president can still say no?
Yes, that's called a veto. If the president vetoes me, I have to go back to Congress and they vote on me again, and by that time you're so
By
old.
that time, it's very unlikely that you become a law. It's not easy to become a law, is it?
No, but how I hope and pray that I will. But today I am still just a bill.
He signed your bill. Now you're a law.
Oh, yes.
Laws are the products of written statutes, passed by either the U.S. Congress or state legislatures. The legislatures create bills that, when passed by a vote, become statutory law. Laws are very vague or very generalized. Once a law has been passed, it is then directed to each state and their regulatory agencies as to how to interpret that law. When laws are passed or changed that affect cosmetology, it is up to Tdlr to decide how to interpret those laws for the state of Texas. Tdlr is an umbrella state agency that regulates many licensed occupations in the state of Texas. Most importantly for us, they regulate the field of cosmetology. When a law has passed or has been changed that affects our industry, Tdlr then creates the rules and regulations to accompany that law to define what is and what is not acceptable under that law. As laws are passed or changed, you will need to stay abreast of those changes. You will be required to purchase additional laws and rule books in the future as changes take place. We know that in order to become a licensed cosmetologist in the state of Texas, we must complete the cosmetology program. But there are many other laws and rules that determine how that program is constructed. Requirements such as clock hours, curriculum and examinations are just a few of the many regulations in place for cosmetologists. Given that we know there are 2 state-proctored exams, a written and a practical, at the end of the program, you will need to know that laws and rules consists of almost 30% of the written examination. This is highly important information that you must learn, retain, know, and practice in order to be successful in this career. As we move through this portion of the course, you will find various laws and rules that dictate what we can and cannot do within the scope of our industry. Regulations, also known as rules, are standards adopted by administrative agencies such as Tdlr that govern how laws will be enforced. Like laws, regulations are coded and published so that all interested parties have notice regarding what is and is not legal. Regulations often have the same force as laws, since, without them, regulatory agencies, such as Tdlr, wouldn't be able to enforce those laws. Regulations are very specific. For every law, there is a rule. And for every rule, there is a law. Again, laws are very generalized. Rules or regulations are more specific. To have a rule, you must have a law in place that defines the topic. To have a law in place means you must have rules to define the individual pieces or concepts of the topic. Laws are very generalized, very vague. Section 1602.254, titled, Eligibility for an Operator License, states, to be eligible for an operator license, an applicant must meet the requirements of subsection C, or 1. Be at least 17 years of age. 2. Have obtained a high school diploma, or the equivalent of a high school diploma, or have passed a valid examination, administered by a certified testing agency that measures the person's ability to benefit from training. And 3. Have completed a 1,500 hours of instruction in a licensed beauty culture school. Or b. 1,000 hours of instruction in beauty culture courses and 500 hours of related high school courses prescribed by the Commission in a vocational cosmetology program in a public school. Rules are very specific. Chapter 83.120. Titled Technical Requirements, Curriculum. For public secondary programs for high school students enrolled in the 1,000 clock hours or equivalent credit hours programs. A. Haircutting, styling, and related theory, 400 hours. B. Hair coloring and related theory, 150 hours. C. Cold waving and related theory, 100 hours. D. Manicuring and related theory, 100 hours. E. Orientation, rules and laws, 75 hours. F. Shampoo and related theory, 75 hours. G. Chemical hair relaxing and related theory, 50 hours. H. Facials and related theory, 25 hours. I. Hair and scalp treatment and related theory, 25 hours. We have seen the very generalized law that requires students to complete 1,000 clock hours of cosmetology instruction. We have also seen how that very generalized law has been broken down into very specific rules that state how those clock hours are divided up. Let's look at them again, this time side by side. Which laws and regulations pertain to me? All of them. If it is in the Tdlr Laws and Rule Book, then it applies to you, and you should become familiar with them. If you will notice, your Laws and Rules book is divided into sections using blank pages outlined with a blue or purple border. The first two sections are titled Regulation of Cosmetology, Occupations Code, Chapters 1602 and 1603. Administered by the Texas Department of Licensing and Regulation. These sections contain all of the laws that apply to our occupation. These chapters are divided up into subsections for easier identification of specific laws for reference. The remaining sections are titled Regulation of Cosmetology, Administrative Rules, 16 Texas Administrative Code, Chapters 83 and 51, administered by the Texas Department of Licensing and Regulation. These sections contain all of the rules that apply to our occupation. These chapters are also divided up into subsections for easier identification of specific rules for reference. Now, it is time for you to read through the Laws and Rules book, and learn how to comprehend the action of looking up specific laws and rules. Understand how these laws and rules apply to you, as a student in today's classroom, as well as how they will apply to you after you achieve licensure. Hint: you will be tested over various laws and rules, as well as to their corresponding chapter and subchapter title codes in the very near future. Study on.